I'm afraid to build my business on social because I know that I don't own or control it. I honestly don't want to be on social media for my business because I just value my life and my mental health way too much. But if I'm not on social, where am I actually going to get leads from? If you've ever felt the following, can relate, my friend. I'm a business owner and I fully quit social media 2 years back. And while you might think, oh my God, that's entrepreneurial suicide, what are you doing? Don't you worry, the business has gone on to make millions since. Now, while business without social media might seem impossible, I'm here to show you how exactly it can be done. There are so many ways. Less life impacting, less time consuming, easier, and honestly just much better ROI on your time ways to get leads for your business. Now, I'm not gonna diminish your fear. Let's be honest, if your leads are coming mostly from social right now, I would not at all suggest quitting it tomorrow. But that doesn't mean that we can't make you a long-term strategy to shift where it is that your leads are coming from and therefore enable you to put social firmly in the rear view mirror. Social media is just one marketing strategy, and while it definitely has a sexiness factor to it and public numbers make you look like a big deal to your followers and build the social proof, there are also a lot of downsides. The lifespan of your posts on social is terrible. All of that time and work that you put into your latest reel, it's gonna be seen today and forgotten about in a day or two. Literally. The lifespan of an Instagram post is between 21 and 48 hours right now. If it's a story, however, at maximum, it's gonna be there for 24 hours because that's how soon it disappears. TikTok is even worse. A post only gets attention for typically a few minutes before it begins what they call an almost instant decay after that. Instant decay is not what you want from the content you just put so much work into. On Twitter, the lifespan is about 15 to 20 minutes, and on Facebook, about 5 hours. That much work for so little return, it makes you start to wonder if you're just a pawn in someone else's chess game. But that's not even the biggest problem with social. You and I both know it. You don't own it or control these platforms, much to every creator's annoyance. Every year, organic reach is worse and worse. Social Insider found that at the beginning of 2023, Instagram had an average reach of 9.3%. Over the year, however, it declined, now at 7.6% in 2024. So if you feel like people are seeing less and less of your posts, you're not crazy, it is actually happening. Social started as this incredible tool for us to get our businesses in front of followers for free, except now followers mean apparently next to nothing as only 7% of them are seeing your stuff. And if you want more of them to see your posts, you're gonna need to pay the platform for that. You don't have a direct access and connection to your potential customers on social. There's an algorithm and major corporations looking to make money in between you and your people. And wise entrepreneurs know not to put all of their eggs into, quite literally, someone else's basket. And that's just the business arguments for not being on social. But for me personally, the biggest reason to get off was personal. The stats coming out about social media addiction and the research on what it's doing to our mental health was definitely correlated to the experience that I was having. I shared how I felt in my Instagram breakup post 2 years ago. Whenever I found myself on Instagram, I would do a gut check and come to the same conclusion. No, this doesn't feel good. Immediately upon opening the app, I just felt awful. Being on Instagram isn't bringing me joy. In fact, it's bringing me the exact opposite. Now, that's all well and good, but I know your real question is, but if I quit social, what's gonna happen to my business? Here's what happened to mine. I've grown my email list by over 8,000 subscribers, grew revenue by an additional 400K last year alone, and hired 2 new team members. And I should mention, I didn't run a single ad to make that happen. But know that the key thing which allowed me to get off Instagram and Facebook and all the rest and continue making an incredible income in the business was that I already had other marketing strategies going. So we need to figure out what that other marketing strategy is going to be for you and start building it up before you say adios to social tomorrow. Here's the thing I want you to know. Social is just one of many potential marketing strategies. There's so many others that we tend to neglect. Which, by the way, opportunity alert, I chatted with a business friend the other day who is feeling kind of like one in a sea of many. She's in the human design space and she knew that on Instagram and TikTok, she's competing with a lot of other human design experts. But on other marketing channels, no one in her space is using them, so she would be in a sea of one. So what are these mysterious other marketing strategies? Let's see. Referral or affiliate programs, email marketing, collaborations with complementary businesses, SEO, content marketing, for example, blogging, podcasting, YouTubing, speaking engagements at conferences and meetups, Google My Business listing optimization, online directories and review sites, PR, guesting on other people's podcasts, ads, networking events, and local meetups. And then there's actually a ton more marketing strategies which work depending on what kind of business it is that you're running. If you're a photographer who obviously works locally in person, you have some industry-specific and local strategies which could work really well for you, like partnering with other event planners and venues, exhibiting at bridal shows or local art fairs, publishing your work in photography magazines or books, flyers and posters in local establishments, and collaborating with local influencers. Or if you're a web designer who's working with clients online anywhere in the world, you could do some of these marketing strategies. Guest blogging on tech and business platforms, white papers or case studies on successful projects, sponsoring tech events or conferences, or cold pitching. Now, there's a few things to consider when deciding between these 20 or so options. You have either one of two things to invest in your marketing: time or money. Some of these things require time, some require money, some actually require both. The next thing on the criteria list when you're trying to pick is to determine, are you building or borrowing an audience? And here's what I mean by that. If I run my own podcast, I'm building the audience for the podcast every month that I create new content. As I create content, the podcast audience grows. It's definitely much slower to build, but you have your own audience, which you can get in touch with as many times as you'd like. On the other hand, guesting on other people's podcasts is what I call borrowing an audience. The audience already exists, the podcast host already has that audience, and you just get a chance to get in front of them when you guest. Now, the upside is you get to get in front of a lot of people very quickly. The downside is that you can't contact that audience anytime because the host probably doesn't want you on the podcast every single week. Now, building an audience takes longer. Borrowing an audience is much faster. The next thing to consider is scale. Some marketing strategies are small scale. That's what I call sort of like relationship marketing strategies. You go and you talk to maybe like one person or a few people at a local event, and now you have one potential or a couple potential people to buy your offering. You're more likely to convert those people because you build a lot of know, like, and trust factor with them, but it's also marketing on a very small scale. Then we have mid-scale marketing options. In-person speaking engagements definitely fall into this category. You go and speak on stage in front of maybe 50 or 100 or 500 people. And then ads are what I would call mass scale marketing. You can get your ad in front of 100,000 people in the click of one button. We've been chatting a lot in my past couple of videos about selling digital products, and if that is on your business vision board, do note that you're going to want to go for one of the mass scale options. Also, in the Google Sheet, which has all these marketing options on it, I'll link it for you down below, it explains the different options, and then I've also ticked which of these options fit for which type of business, maybe like an online business or a local business, and sort of which criteria they all hit on. Now, I'll leave the list for you below. You can access it and play around with it and try to figure out which of these options works for your business. Now, if you're wondering what the best strategy is, by the way, there is one strategy hidden in that list, which is my personal favorite. It is inexpensive, exceptionally effective at building the know, like, trust factor with potential customers. It scales exceptionally well. You own it, unlike social, and it has a hella long lifespan, also unlike social. And I've never heard of anyone getting depression or anxiety from it, which is also a fun bonus. Which is it? Which is really worth your time committing to? Come join me for my 90-minute masterclass, How to Build an Email List of Buyers Without Spending a Second on Social or a Cent on Ads. It's happening in just about a week's time, and it's going to be live. So if you dream of getting into the digital product game, but you need to pick a scalable marketing strategy which doesn't cause you crippling anxiety, then come to the masterclass. I'm only hosting this specific class once this entire year, so seriously, click below, get yourself registered, and I can't wait to see you at the masterclass live.